Hello and welcome back to the Magical Lane. I'm your host, Maggie Jane, and today I want to dive into the importance of being kind to yourself and taking life day by day. Because lately I have been feeling super low energy, kind of depressed, and the one thing that I have found to keep me going. Of course, there's many things to keep me going, but the one thing that I have found every day to be mindful and present of is one, just being kind to myself and showing myself love and self-care and still getting ready for the day even if I don't feel like doing anything or if I want to get back into bed. Just doing that for myself because I know it's going to make me feel better. And then also taking life day by day. I'm in such a weird position of change right now, and I'm super nasally. There's so much mucus in my body right now. It's disgusting. So sorry if I sound weird. um, but just taking life day by day. Because I'm in a change. I'm in a process of getting myself an apartment in a new place, and I'm kind of in between places right now. And currently, I'm in my lovely friend Dev's apartment because I'm watching his dog for the next week. So I'm constantly changing locations and living out of a suitcase. So life is just interesting right now. And there's a lot of ups and downs. And I just want to talk about the importance of still being kind to yourself and still showing yourself that love even in uncertain times, because there are many of those. Life is full of ups and downs. It's full of constant change. It's full of constant growth. And the only consistent we really have is ourselves. There's people they come and go in our lives. Dreams and aspirations, they come and go, and certain routines or habits, they come and go, and just, everything's always changing. And the only thing we really have is ourselves. So when you are in this place of change, or just this time of uncertainty, or just any time, honestly, just being kind to yourself. And I know I talk about this all the time, but it's important. And it's something I need to remind myself every single day because, like I said, I've been feeling very low energy lately. And I'm in a big transformational phase, which I feel like I've been in one for the last year. So that's interesting. But I'm kind of just ready to settle down a little bit and create a homey space for myself. Because that's something I haven't had since I was 18, and I'm 22 now. So it's been 4 years since I've had my own space and my own homey decorative space that I can just go whenever I want and just reflect and disconnect from the world. And I'm ready for that again. Because whenever I was 18, that's whenever I had my first apartment, and it was great. I really enjoyed it, but 18-year-old Maggie did not know what she wanted to do. She didn't have the podcast. She didn't have modeling. She barely was hanging out with friends. She didn't really have good relationships. And so, yes, I had that space, but I spent most of my time in that space smoking blunts and watching TV. And it was a great time. But now that I have found myself so much more and I have all these things, I'm ready to have that space again for myself and to just wake up every single morning and have my own aura and energy taking over the entire space with plants everywhere and just cooking breakfast for myself and having a fucking podcast studio so I can have a consistent space to have guests on and just recording for myself, because that's also, I recognize that today, but not that I care, because I'm just living my life and I'm moving a lot. There's nothing I can really do about that, but I do know that having like a consistent background is important for growth. Not that it's necessary, but it is one thing that can attribute to growth of a brand or a channel, by just having consistency in that type of way. Because as of right now, the only consistent thing is me and my voice. The background's always changing, the guests are always going to change, of course. Um, but I'm ready to have that space for myself again, and just decorating and putting up paintings and putting up my own paintings, because I paint. I didn't paint before when I was 18. I barely, like, I was not back into drawing. I need to, like, it's disgusting. I hate this. I don't know what it is. Um, but yeah, like, I didn't have many creative passions or endeavors that I was focused on when I did have that space. And so I've spent the last 4 years finding that, and finding myself and finding what I enjoy and doing the things that I love, and I'm ready to have a space that represents that now. So that's my phase of change that I'm going through right now. Like, I'm reflecting on all the things that I have learned about myself and just all the growth that I've achieved, and I'm ready to throw it all into one space for a while, because it just feels right. Moving around is great and traveling is great, and I'm still going to travel. But there's nothing better than just having a space for all your stuff that you call yours. There truly isn't. It's incredible. It's an incredible feeling, and it's an incredible thing to have. But anyways, with all of that said and all of that going on, I've been feeling a little chaotic and trying not to focus too much on the future, of course, and trying not to worry about planning everything or having everything figured out, because I know it's all going to work out, and I know I'm going to get the apartment that I want, because I want a loft, and I know I'm going to get that, and I know it's going to be fucking beautiful and perfect, and I'm going to have the best experience. So I already know all those things. So I'm trying not to worry about figuring those things out, because I just know. You know? It's happening. I'm doing what I can every single day to get one step closer to having it. So that's all I can do. But just trying to be more present and kind every single day. Because it's so important. And I feel like whenever we're in these states of unknown or like inconsistent things, it's hard to focus on you. It kind of, that's kind of like the last thing that crosses your mind, because you've got all these thoughts just running through your head, and you're trying to like figure whatever you need to figure out, but make sure that you cross your mind a lot, and first focus on how can you take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, whenever you are caring for yourself and you're showing that love to yourself, you're going to be able to plan and figure things out much easier, because you're coming from a loving space, because you filled your own cup and you showed that love to yourself, and now you're able to put that energy onto the things that you're working on or the things that you're planning. So at the end of the day, it's always going to benefit you to put yourself first at the start of your days. So like today, I woke up not feeling very great, didn't really want to get out of bed. So I made myself get up, I flossed, brushed my teeth, I showered, I shaved my legs for the first time in a few months. Probably. I don't know. I haven't shaved in a while though. And then I did my little foot scrubber thing because my feet have been really dry and calloused since going to Italy, and I haven't done that. And I've been wanting to do it. So I did that for myself today. And then I even put on some makeup, which I haven't done in a while, just for myself or for the pod. So I did that today. And I think I'm going to start wearing eyeliner more because it's just a vibe. And it just adds to the whole look. It gives me a new vibe. Like, because just like, I'm so pale and have such light features, so it's just so dark. It adds a little darkness. And maybe that's just because of how I'm feeling. Who knows? But I'm just going with it. So if you see me wearing eyeliner a lot, you know why. But, I just, like, I did those things and then I fixed my hair a little bit. There's not much I'm gonna do to my curls. They're just curling. And then I made some really good breakfast and I ate it. And I made some content on Instagram, posted some reels from my camping trip I just went on. And that was incredible. I needed that. I haven't gone camping. Little side story. I haven't gone camping since I was like 7 years old. And it was like my first time ever going camping. It was with my family and our church. And we went for like a bike-a-thon. And I just remember not having a good time. I did not have a good time camping. I probably did because I was a kid and I enjoyed it, but like my memories that are attached to it was sleeping on a hard ground, running over a snake on my bike because there was a snake in the road. It was a small one. It was fine. I don't know. I don't know if I ran it over. Maybe. But I just remember a snake being there. And I thought it was funny, but kind of scary. And then coming home with like 40 fucking mosquito bites all over my body. That is what I remember from a camping experience. And so I never really went camping again after that until a few days ago. I went camping with Elijah and his mom at the Hoh Rainforest in Washington. We stayed for 2 nights and we camped at 2 different spots. And it was just fucking incredible. Because they're a big like outdoorsy adventure camping type family. So they've got the whole setup. And it was great. And we had great food. His mom made like salmon and salad and chicken, and we had breakfast and s'mores, and it was such a great time. And I think I only got like 2 mosquito bites because it was a beautiful experience. And then also just the Hoh Rainforest itself, incredible. We camped right by the river both nights in the rainforest. And on the second night or the second morning, it rained in the tent. And I don't know if you have ever experienced sleeping in a tent in a rainforest while it's raining. 10 out of 10 experience. It was so fucking peaceful and beautiful. But I just love that. But it was a nice break. It was a nice break from life. Because, you don't really have service out there. You don't even want to be on your phone. You're just enjoying nature. And we went on some hikes. And it was a great time. And I just came back feeling a lot better. For the most part. And just showed that kindness to myself. And another way to do that is go out and be in nature. Go camping for a few days and disconnect from the world. It really helps your mindset. It's so good. It was so much fun, and I'm looking forward to going again. I enjoy camping now. And I started my first fire, and I was really proud of myself. And it lasted all night. Of course, we had to keep adding to it, but I started my first fire, and I helped put the tent together. It was a good time. It was a really good time. And yeah, it just, going camping really makes you question like civilization. But we don't need to get into all of that. I feel like I talk about that a lot. Or maybe I don't, because I avoid it every single time. But civilization is fucked. And we need to live more like we do when we're camping. And I'm going to leave it at that. But whenever you are just not feeling your best, show some care to yourself. Go shower. Go scrub your feet. Go shave your legs. Go put on some makeup. Try out a new makeup look. Because you never know how it's going to make you feel or how it's going to make you look. And it's most likely going to make you feel better and make you feel good and look good. So I recommend it. I recommend doing that for yourself. And, going back to just taking life day by day, as a creative, and since starting this podcast, I'm officially 6 months into this podcast. 6 months. That's fucking insane. I started this podcast 6 months ago. It doesn't even feel that long. But to be fair, 3 of those months I was in Europe, so I basically just left reality for a little bit. That's kind of how it feels when you go to Europe. You're in a whole new reality, literally. But 6 months? This is my 39th episode. I have almost 40 episodes out. That's crazy. And I was checking my analytics on the podcast today because I realized I hit 6 months 2 days ago on the 14th. I launched this podcast December 14th of 2023. And it is now June 16th of 2024. And that is crazy. But I was checking the analytics and I have 60 followers on Spotify. And I'm so proud of that. And 600 plays overall. And I love that. I hit 600 plays for my 6 months. That's 100 plays per month. And I think that's great. And I'm just really, really excited to watch this continue to grow. And I'm so grateful for everybody who listens every single week. Like, if you're a day one person, I really, really appreciate you. And I'm so grateful. And if you're not a day one and you're new to this podcast or you've been watching it for a while, whenever you started, I'm grateful for you. And I hope you enjoy everything that I put out. And I hope that you leave feeling more magical and more love for yourself and your day and just tips on life, because that's the whole purpose here. That is the whole purpose here, is to just spread love and kindness, which is what we're even talking about today. That's all we do, is just spread love and kindness. Kindness. I had to do a voiceover audition, and it made me realize how much I don't fully pronunciate my words. I don't talk super proper, which isn't a bad thing at all. And I know I have I slur my S's. I know that. And because I've been called out on that many, many times. My first ever audition or casting I went to, I had to do a commercial on camera, and she was like, "That was great, loved the energy, but you slur your S's a lot." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And I had never really noticed that. I knew I'd struggle to speak certain words, but yeah, I slurred my S's. I think it's so funny because I love talking and I still have this podcast, but I'm not gonna let that shit stop me. I still get my point across. And that's what matters. But like for voiceovers, you need to be able to pronunciate because they can't see you or read your lips, so they're only hearing you. And I think I did really good. I'm very excited. I have a callback for that on the 18th to see if I got it. Fingers crossed. I'm feeling good. It's a big opportunity, so universe, do me right, like you always do. um, I love it. But yeah, life is crazy. This creative journey is crazy because I'm also still trying to figure out what I offer to my audience as far as Instagram content and video content, because I know what I offer on this podcast and I know what my purpose is here, but I feel like it's always changing on Instagram because I'm always changing. I feel like once I started this podcast, that's really when it started to change, because I started being more vulnerable and sharing my thoughts and who I am on here. And so I wanted to reflect that on my Instagram, and I'm still kind of figuring out what that entirely looks like. It's a journey, but I think I'm focusing mostly on just spreading the love, of course, and lots of travel focus right now because I'm just constantly traveling, which is amazing. Um, yeah, I think that's my focus, but I'm trying to get more intentional with it and more consistent. More consistent. Because I'm very consistent with this. I have yet to miss a day. I will not miss a day because I have no excuse to miss a day. I've almost missed a day. And that's another thing, taking this day by day. Having this podcast has really forced me to grow in a lot of ways, and it's really forcing me to figure myself out because I have to have things to talk about. You can't have a podcast if you don't have things to talk about. So every single week I'm learning new things to talk about. And I'm also, I was having a conversation with Dev earlier about how I like to share my my journey of growth. I like to share the things that I'm going through, and I like to share how I've overcome them. But it's kind of hard to do that whenever you're still processing things. It's hard to share those things whenever you're still going through them. And whenever I'm putting out 2 episodes a week, but I need to talk about my life, but I'm still trying to process the things that I'm going through, it's kind of difficult. That's where being a creative gets a little challenging. Because you're like, how do I put content out? But I'm still trying to understand what my life even is right now. Or what my mind is telling me, or just the things that I'm feeling. It's a whole journey. But I love it though, because these are my therapy sessions at this point. Not really. But I think it's so funny because a couple of my guests that I've had on, they're like, that was a whole therapy session. And I'm like, I love that for you. It really is, because it's good to talk and get your thoughts out. And so having this podcast and putting out 2 episodes a week, it forces me to get my thoughts out and also know my opinions on things so I can talk about them. That's also why I love having guests on, because then it makes it a focus on them and not on me. Because I don't always want that. But that's the beauty of having a podcast. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. I can make the entire focus on me for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then I can just put out a bunch of guest episodes and then you don't hear about me for a while. Slightly in the guest episodes, because I do still talk about myself a lot in the guest episodes, because we're having a conversation. Anyways. But it's interesting trying to, like, create content, and especially if you're not creating content for, like, brands or other people's things or, like, products, and you're just creating your own content. Like, I find it difficult to know what to share or put out there when you're trying to just process things in your life. But I also feel like we're always processing things in our lives. So, when do you ever find that balance? Or is there even a balance to it? I don't know. Social media is weird. I really don't like it. But I also like it. I don't like it, but I do. I feel like that's all how we feel about it. It kind of sucks, but, like, it's also fun. It's exciting. It's liberating. I love having my Instagram and having that persona on there, even though it is me, but it's not me, but it is. And then seeing everybody else's lives, that's them, but it's not them. You know? What the fuck is social media about? Oh, goodness. We're all going through things, and the most important thing you can do is to just be kind to yourself and to just take life day by day and to not put too much pressure on yourself and to just do what makes you happy and to do what makes you feel good. And I think that's where I want to wrap this up, honestly. I'm just here to remind you of that and to share my journey of it. And yeah, talk about life. The question that I have for you today, I feel like it's a question that I ask a lot, or just like a similar idea of a question that I'm always asking is just how can you be more kind to yourself? How can you be more present with yourself? How can you take some of the pressure off yourself and just show up for you? How can you do that? What are some ways? Go journal on it. Always. Go dive into yourself and dive into your mind, dive into how you're feeling, and just ask yourself, how can you be more kind and more present with everything you have going on? And just show some love to it. But that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Magical Lane podcast, and I appreciate you coming back every Monday and Thursday to watch, to listen, to learn, to observe, to find interesting new things. And I appreciate you, and I am grateful for you. And as always, if you liked this episode, give it a rate, give it a review, share it with your friends, and share it with the people that need it the most. Side note, I don't know if I'm going to do weekly vlogs anymore because I'm not finding that full passion for it. I enjoy the podcast more. So I'm going to put out spontaneous vlogs. Still going to vlog, but they have not been every week. I did not do one last week. I did not do one yesterday. So, but more vlogs are coming. Just wanted to let you know. But go follow me on YouTube. Go subscribe on YouTube at _ Maggie Jane. I think it's _ Maggie Jane. I don't even know my own username. _ Maggie Jane. It's the same on Instagram. Go follow. Go share your thoughts. Go like the posts. Send me a DM. Go fill out the guest application. Come on this podcast. That's all I got for you.